Today on Vintage Steel Garage I'm going to give you a review of the CLK 2,000 miles in and 2 months into ownership. So I've had this CLK 5 litre V8 now, 2 months, done about 2,000 miles. It's averaging probably 19 miles per gallon round town. If you get it on the motorway it goes up to about 30, which is pretty good really considering. Other V8s I've got, like this Dodge Dart here, I've got to say I love this Dodge Dart, it's brilliant, but this classic Mopar stuff is just getting so expensive. Now this here, this CLK, if you look behind me here, basically I traded in a Land Rover Discovery and gave the dealer £1,200 cash. Now the Land Rover Discovery I bought 2.5 years earlier for £1,800, so you could actually say that money had written itself off, wasn't worth anything. But I valued it £1,000 or £1,100 and gave him £1,200. That's where I'm coming up with £2,300 for the car. But it only actually cost me £1,200 cash. Now I think that's pretty good for a modern V8 Mercedes 5 litre automatic. That's cheap, and also you'll find at the moment parts for these are pretty cheap on the internet as well. So it makes it a lot easier to work on and cheaper than this classic Mopar stuff. And as a daily runner it's miles better as well. So let's have a quick walk around it and I'll just talk you through what I'd like to do 2 months into the ownership and a few little bits and pieces I want to replace on it. Let's have a quick walk around it. So there we go, 5 litre V8 engine, 300 brake horsepower, 0 to 60 in about 5.9 seconds, well it could be about 6.2, I can't quite remember, but it's pretty quick. Love the layout of the engine. It basically, the engine looks like it's trying to pop out the bonnet, doesn't it really, with that low slung front. Love the design of the airbox here, where you've got the 2 intakes, one on this side, one on this side, so it just looks like 2 massive nostrils here snorting the air in. Usually you get some air filter where it'll just come down a pipe and disappear behind one of the headlights and it's nothing conspicuous, where this is just like, yeah, suck the air in. So I had a couple of things sorted out on it. Just take a walk around. There was a massive dint in this pillar here. Let's see if I can find a picture. I should have took a picture beforehand, but it was absolutely a whopping dint. And I got my dint man, took it out, took that dint out, took a dint out here in a door. You just got a little paint mark there, and one on the boot lid. Did a fantastic job. Now one of the other things I've done on this side is I've blacked out the chrome. I think there's just too much chrome trim on it, so I've blacked this out with some tape, but I only had 6mm tape and I really needed 8mm a bit wider, and it's peeling off because I did it when it was a bit damp, so I'm going to redo that. But if I show you the other side you'll see what I mean, where there's just a bit too much chrome going on. So I compare that side to this side, you'll see what I mean. I think the black looks better, just takes the chrome away. And I did the same on the front grille, where I just got rid of the chrome on the front grille as well. So the only issue I've had with the car is, for some reason someone had taken this Jubilee clip off here and cut into this, and I repaired that on an earlier video, so that's all sorted and I haven't lost any coolant, and that's been working fine since then. So like I say, I'm going to black this chrome trim out here and I'll show you how we do that. Another thing I'd like to have a look at is the steering wheel. The steering wheel is just horrendous. It's got this cover on. The reason it's got the cover on is it's just worn away underneath. If I just take this off and show you, you can see, so I'll take that cover off. We'll have a look at replacing that. This gear lever gaiter here is damaged there. You can see it's all, I don't know what's happened, if someone's tried prising it open or it's just come apart. This doesn't shut, so I need to sort that out. Now again, you could say really on a cheap car, why fix these things? But again, going back to this Mopar larky, there's parts on that I need which are just ridiculous money. You just can't buy them. Well, at the moment people are breaking these easily, so if you have a look in here, I bought a steering wheel. I mean, this still needs a bit of work. I'm not kidding myself, this is mint, but it's better than what I've got on. And probably more likely to be recoverable if nothing else. I then have a spare steering wheel that I can send away for refurbishment while keeping this one on. So this steering wheel, this airbag with the switches on. Now bearing in mind one of my switches is broken here, so I've got the switch, I've got the steering wheel, and I've got the gator surround there which is not damaged. All that cost me £60 plus £10 delivery, so that's pretty cheap. So I'm going to show you how we put those on. The other thing I'm going to do is just take this AMG badge off. It's not a real AMG. You can actually see this badge actually goes up at the end. It just looks rubbish, so that's coming off. I'm going to take the number plate off and take this lower edge off here, because that just looks rubbish as well. So it's just a combination of cleaning it all up. Ultimately, getting into winter, it's not the right time. I think next year I'm going to look at probably lowering it, changing the exhaust, get a bit more noise out of it, and clean up a few more things. So this basically, you'll see this strip I put on here, which can come off now because I'm going to go and redo it in the bigger stuff there. In fact, it might be too cold. This just actually shattered and didn't come off in one piece. So let's have a look. Oh, there we go. Yeah, that's pretty satisfying. It's like taking the cover off a new phone screen. There, right. Okay, so before we start on the car, first thing to do before you take an airbag off is disconnect the battery, which is located under there.
1 minute 37 seconds later.
So the battery to disconnect is just under here, so I just take these 3 clips off. 1, 2, 3 here on the airbox, which is basically the pollen filter. And I'm now just going to take this off. Now be careful, when you're taking this battery connection off, what you don't want to do is short the spanner out between the body and the terminal. Now I'm probably also going to have to reset a couple of things with windows and stuff like that when I put this back on. Reset the transmission, which I'm going to show you how to do that as well, which on these Mercedes does actually, for the first 40 or 40 odd shifts after the battery has been, or after the transmission has been reset, it relearns your shifting patterns, which when you think about it, on a second-hand car, no idea what it was set to last time, so it'll be good to get that done. So we've just got to get this terminal off here, which is proving to be a little bit difficult one-handed. There we go, so that's that off. Just make sure that's clear. I'm not going to be touching anything. Hook it around the corner. And the reason for taking this off and disconnecting this is just so you don't get any stray sparks or spikes or anything like that. I'm just going to put the lights on as well, so that just discharge any electricity that was left in the car. It's only going to be very small amounts, and that just means before we disconnect the airbag, we don't end up with any stray voltage and an airbag in the face, which obviously is not desirable. So let's have a look at how we get the steering wheel off. Oh, and by the way, this is what I was saying about the button on mine. I think if you can just see if it'll focus in. Not sure if it's going to focus. It's all scratched and damaged there, and at night it all lights up and shines through quite bright. So I'm going to change those buttons. The rest of the airbag's okay. Let me take the cover off now, and I'll just show you what this is like underneath here. And by the way, this cover is absolutely disgusting. It feels like you're touching a McDonald's table where it's all sticky and awful, and the vinyl, because it's not leather, the vinyl just feels awful. So I'll be glad that this is coming off. Well, it's a good job. I've got a new steering wheel, because this is terrible underneath, and I've just actually ripped the cover in half coming off. Might actually could be it's a bit cold today. In fact, it's absolutely freezing, so everything's a bit brittle, so that ain't going to be going back on, is it? That's for the trash. Yeah, so you can see this steering wheel is not pretty. So, but I'm going to send it away for overhaul. I've seen somewhere they've had little thumb grips around here and they look a bit prettier. So let's get this off and show you how we do it. Right, so the first tip when you're replacing the steering wheel is don't take your battery off first, because you need to turn your steering wheel like this. Take a screw out at the back there, then turn it that way to take another screw out. So put your battery back on, or leave your battery on as I should say, and then we'll take these screws out.
A
few moments later.
Right, so there's the first one out. So that's the airbag loose. Turn it around the other way. Right, so there's the airbag out. Right, so let's knock the engine off, disconnect the battery for a second time. So I would just wait for the battery to drain down, which I'm sure isn't going to be half an hour. People say leave it half an hour. I'm not going to leave it that long, I can't be bothered waiting that long. But I'm going to take this cover off here and look at replacing this, which I think is just a case of a bit of brute force and ignorance. Yeah, there we go. Like there. Oh, that came off easy. Gear knob, let's try and wrestle this off. Okay, so I've wrestled the gear knob off. I'm just now having a look at this, seeing if I can work out why this doesn't shut, but I just need to get these electrical cables off, which looks like it's a case of popping these off at the back, so let me do that because I haven't got two hands, and then we'll have another look. So I've got the ashtray out. Nothing obvious is springing to mind at the moment, pardon the pun of it springing open. Why it's not closing, if you look on the end, the mechanism, it's all pretty complicated. The only thing I can think of, it's a bit gummed up. On the cogs at the back here with maybe a bit of residue and whatnot. So I just thought I'll try some electrical cleaner on it and see what I can do with that. Maybe a two-handed job. And there's the spring and there's the gear. Just start off with something really simple and end up with this. Don't get what that does. What I do know is that's not on that clip anymore. Oh, that could be bad.
Much later.
Anyway, I did the right thing and broke it. So it now shuts. So I think that's going to work. So I can pop that back in, put the electrical connections back on it, and then put the new gear lever surround in. So obviously the super right thing to do would have been to have put the car in reverse before disconnecting this, so I might have to come back to this. There. So that's the gator off. That appears to be melted and glued in there, so that's not going to come out easy. So let's see how that compares with the replacement one. No one, of course, can't get him a boot either now. Oh, what a disaster. I'm going to have to put the battery back on. Jesus. Oh, God, there's so many electrical things in this, so I needed this on. Why is this not happening? Right, so I can get this back in now. Ah! Right, so this gets the ashtray thing back in. Now that'll work, won't it? Right, so I've got to get the gear lever gator back in. Now I'm open the boot so I can get the steering wheel out.
A few moments later.
Oh, weather's turning shit as well. Right, steering wheel, spare airbag, spare gear lever gator. Right, this gear lever gator's worn way more than mine. So let's see if we can pop this little beauty out without breaking the tabs. Right, so what am I keeping off this? Oh, it's the gator, isn't it? So let me just pop that gator out of there. So that's my old switch, the old one with the damage on. If you can just see, it's all damaged around here. Just throw that on the floor. That's the gator I'm not using because the gear lever's all worn. So that's my existing gator I'm going to use. So let's pop this in here. Pop this back into here. Wonder where the red stuff would come from, my finger. Okay, so let's pop this into here. More red stuff. So I've disconnected the battery and we're now going to have a look at this steering wheel. Replace the steering wheel, and what we're going to do is take the airbag off first. Now the right thing to do is just disconnect it and leave it for half an hour, but I'm not going to do that. So yeah, maybe I am actually. I think I just pooed myself a bit then, thinking it could blow up in my face. Yeah, I think maybe I'll be leaving it for half an hour. We're going to change these switches. Let's have a look at these switches. Let's have a look at the new one. So this is a new airbag. Not that I'm replacing the airbag. Jesus, these are heavy boys, because this one's all damaged. But let's have a look at how these come apart so we can get these switches out. And let's take this one apart in the garage, get these switches out and see how we can swap them over. So we've got the airbag, the replacement airbag, but we're not using that, on the bench here. What we want to do is get these buttons out, because this is the button of mine that's damaged. So it looks like we need some torque fittings on the back. Just let me go and get something that's going to fit that. It's a T30. So let's take the back of this off. So, got the carrier off there. It hasn't yet gone off in my face, which is pretty good. Switches did I want. I want the ones on this side, didn't I? So let's see what fitting that is. Looks like it's going to be a bit of a smaller one. Oh, it's pouring down now. The windows on my car are down. Great. Just great. Right, so it looks like it's that one, which is a T20. Right, so let's take these out. Oh, that was a lot easier, which is what you'd hope. So let's hope these switches come out now. And do they? No, they don't. Okay, so what's going to happen next? Oh, I see. Oh, and this still isn't coming out. Oh no, it comes out sideways. There we go. So there's the switches. Right. So just got to do the same on the other airbag. Let's get the other airbag. Back in a minute. This is the one that's off. And you can see the damage there to the switch, which is why I'm replacing it. I've got the replacement switch out of the other airbag ready. I've got the replacement switch here, so I'm going to show you how I put this one in. So, first thing we're going to do is undo the 4 bolts at the back that are holding the cover on again. Now these were tied as doodah. So here we go. First one out. There we go. Second one. Oh, you don't want to be looking at me, you want to be looking at this. So 2 little screws on this side. Oh, it is very cold today. This membrane, which is like the electrical circuit board, just then lifts up like that. You can see that lifts up, and this switch slides out. Right, okay, so you can just see this. So this just lifted up quite easy, and this then slides out this way. The buttons just simply slides out. It just simply slides out. There we go. So defective button, new button's going in. Right, so that slides back in like this. There. Push that in. Put these 2 little screws back in. Torque them up to tight. Go. Airbag rebuilt, new buttons on. Okay, so obviously I've timed this job completely wrong because it's now absolutely pouring down. My windows are stuck down, and I need to replace the steering wheel. So what I want to try and do, I'm going to have to try and gauge it to put it on in exactly the same position, aren't I, or else my steering's going to be out. So the first thing to do is crack this off, which is F-tight. Oh, I think I nearly pooed. Right, so I need a longer breaker bar than that. Okay, so let's try this again. A longer breaker bar now. Really an extra pair of hands to hold the steering wheel, wouldn't have gone amiss, but I haven't got that, so I'll just use my knees, and we go for, come on! God, I'm gonna poo myself.
1 pair of pants later.
Ah, that's got it. Yee-hee! Where's my extension gone? Oh. Obviously that did do it. Right, now the next important thing, now you know you got the bolt out, do not pull the steering wheel off with the bolt out, because it will take your teeth out. Honest. Right, nut back on, just a couple of threads. Let's get the steering wheel to a point where we can remember to put it back on the right way around. So that looks about right. Yeah, that was a little bit of an anticlimax. Wheel off, electrical cables out the hole, old steering wheel in the back, new steering wheel in. It is the same colour, isn't it? Yeah, it's just clean. It's clean colour. Right, so remembering it goes on this way around, so I'll put the cables through the hole. 1, 2, 3. So the cables come through like this. Like that. Put the steering wheel on upside down, which is obviously the right way up. put this socket back in. Right, then we just want to tighten this back up. So let's get the big boy on it. Big boy. Right, I mean, the door open. Oh, it's lovely, it's pouring down. There we go. Now this is a triple tight. So correct torque setting is don't get there till the veins are coming out your forehead, and then you know it's tight enough. Right, so that's back in. Now we want to put the airbag back in. This is where we lose our teeth. So yellow and green, yellow and green. Yellow and green should never be seen. Oh no, that's... Now then, what I should have done is remember which way up these were. That's going that way up. I can't remember which way around they were. Oh no, they're polarised, so we can't get it wrong. Yay. Of course I should have been paying attention. Right, so do the green this side. Put a little clip back in. Yellow this side. Oh god, this makes you nervous. That's the steering wheel controls. So they're all back in. No, that's not the right way up. That's the right way up there. Now we can now get the T25 and put the screws in here. I could probably reconnect the battery now. Right, okay, you're still with us? You've not gone watching something else that's more interesting? Good. Right, so we now want to get the keys back in. No, let's put the battery back on first, that always helps, doesn't it? Right, okay, let's shut that up. You still with me? Hello, still with me? Oh, you're not, are you? Oh, still there, right, okay, good. So, right, so we want to put these screws back in now, and it is proper raining really good now. So let's put these screws back in here.
It's Rock FM with James Hyde. This.
Oh, we don't need any of that, do we? Let's get the engine running so I can do the power steering easier.
The amount of cash.
Shut up. Right, so we're just doing these two screws up to hold the steering wheel, hold the airbag on. So that's one. Turn it the other way. And two. Now we've lost the torque bit in there. Yeah, we've got it back. Right, so what we need to do now is work out why none of the windows are working right, and that's because we've had the battery disconnected. So first of all, I'm just going to connect the terminal tight on the battery. Right, okay, so what we've done now, we've got the battery back on. What I need to do now is reset all my windows. So how you simply do this is turn your ignition on to stage 2. Just turn the aircon off so you can hear me. Put the windows down. Hold them down for 3 seconds. So 1, 2, 3. Put them back up and hold them up for 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Do the same with the back windows. all the way down. 1, 2, 3. All the way up. 1, 2, 3. Now that should have reset them all, so when you open your door, the window just drops a little bit, and then you shut it, and it goes back up. So that seems to be working right. The other thing, so let's just try the steering wheel. Let's just try the buttons out on it.
In Thursday's vote, the longest and most expensive wish list was the invention of Father Christmas, and the electors could see that. They could see that.
Menu's going up and down. Yep, so it seems to be working okay. Steering wheel feels better that it's not this. Let's just turn that off. Steering wheel feels better because it's not this big monster stupid grip thing on it. The steering wheel is probably not as good as what I would have liked condition, but it's okay. There's a few cracks and marks on it, but I can now send my other one away for repair. I've got my glove box shut in, gear levers shut in. Pretty happy. What I might do now is that transmission reset. Now what you do with this, with the accelerator pedal, you'll feel a button right at the bottom end. So what it says you do is turn your ignition on to position 2. Press the pedal down, so you press the switch. Count to 15 seconds. Which always feels a long time when you're waiting. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Turn the ignition off. Take your foot off the pedal and wait another couple of minutes. People say that, I'm not sure whether it's true or not, but I might as well. So you don't want to wait with me while I do that, so I'll come back to you in a minute. Right, I waited a couple of minutes, let's start it up. We've got reverse. Let's try reverse. Yeah, we've got reverse. And we've got forward. So, I'm going to go. So really, let's just shut that radio up. So what we're saying is, I've never done this job before. I don't know if you could tell that, by the way. I've now got my gear lever gator replaced. I've got this working, which is better. This has been replaced. Managed to get a bit of DNA all over the place on the door handles and on the windows, I think down there. That obviously needs coming off, and I've got a bit of DNA on the glass, got a bit of DNA around here. So, shut that up. So I'm going to give it a clean up, go for a drive. Steering wheel looks better, I think you'll agree. We got rid of the cover. The weather has not been with us. There, so you can see the window reshut properly. Look. So yeah, the weather's not really been with us. So I don't think we've got all our jobs done. But we've got the main one done, which is the steering wheel. And we got the buttons replaced on the radio. What else did we do? Oh, and replace the central gator. So I think that's it for today. Thanks for watching. We're obviously into the realms of winter, so there's not a lot really we're going to do in the middle of the winter out on the drive, although I do need to do some more work on this dart. I know I keep saying that. I'm going to do some work on the dart so I can get rid of that. I want to get the GMC pickup in the garage so I can do some work on that, lower the suspension, change the leaf springs on the front, and do a few other little bits. Might do some jobs on the Porsche. I did scratch the wing and I need to sort that out. You can just see that there. Yes, brushed past it, scratched it, swore profusely. So I'm going to put this airbag back together, go for a little test drive, see how the transmission performs. Please like and subscribe, and keep watching, and we'll do other things like the board racer bike needs finishing off. I've got this cupboard here that I'm restoring, which I'm going to aluminium polish all that up, and I've got loads of bits and pieces. So please like, subscribe and keep watching. Thank you. Oh, and one other thing, if you're still watching, what it does show working on the CLK, or anything really, I'd never taken an airbag off before, never took the steering wheel off a CLK, never took the dashboard out, despite a little bit of DNA lost, a torrential downpour, nearly bursting a vein in my forehead trying to get the steering wheel off. I have actually achieved everything I wanted to achieve. So sometimes you just need to get out there in the garage and get on with it and try the job, rather than procrastinating and sitting in the house watching other YouTube videos. Just get on with it, just get out there and do something. Okay, just one further thing, one question you may have had is, why did I reset the transmission? Well, nothing to do with taking the battery connection on and off. It's just that on these CLKs they have a transmission memory on them which adapts to your driving abilities. Now obviously this is a second-hand vehicle, and obviously it's tuned into the previous owner's driving styles, and what you do, you reset it, and then for the first 40 or so shifts it learns your driving style and resets to that. So I've reset it, driven it around the block, seemed to drive okay. Can't say it's now wonderful, it's obviously not added 500 brake horsepower and dropped the 0 to 60 to 5 seconds. But let's just see how it performs, and I dare say it'll probably need some more servicing. 140,000 miles, probably wants the oil changing as well, which I'll look at doing, in the filter change, and show you how to do that in the future. So this really is bye for now, and thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, click the little bell so you get updates, and I'll see you soon. Thank you.